Mixing vocal tracks, probably one of the hardest things to do in music production. But what if I told you there is a singular plugin out there that can possibly mix your vocal tracks from start to finish? If you want to know about this plugin, stick around after this introduction. Welcome everybody, I'm Dan Spencer and I am the Audio Sorcerer. So if you are into music production, audio mixing, mastering, or even a music creator, then this is a channel for you. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button so you can be part of our community. Now in today's video, we're talking about Sonnox Voca, which is a vocal processing plugin. Now the idea is that you put your vocal track into this plugin, make some adjustments to the parameters, and then when it comes out, the vocal track is done, it's ready to go. So we're going to test that scenario in this video. Now this plugin could be used obviously during mixing, but it could also be used during recording, okay? So it has two different scenarios. And if you end up liking this plugin, I have a link in the description below where you can go purchase it. So with that out of the way, let's actually get to demoing the Sonnox Voca plugin. Alright, so here we are in Pro Tools and I have the Sonnox Voca plugin open. So the first thing you'll want to do is go down to the bottom left here and click the question mark, and then you want to click Open Quick Guide. So this guide here is going to take you from start to finish on how to actually use the plugin. So our first step here is to make sure that we have the proper input level. And to do that, all we have to do is simply play the vocal track and watch this optimize button here. Now, if the optimize button doesn't flash at us, we are good to go. If it does flash, you simply want to click it so that it recalibrates the plugin for our vocal track. Now, the cases where the optimize button might flash is if your vocal track is too soft or too loud. But in most cases, you're not even gonna have to deal with this, and the auto button right here is gonna be good to go. So let's play our vocal track and see if we are good to go.
And tonight, I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove that I'm still around. Town, I feel so empty. Patience is wasted and I wanna flee down where.
Alright, so our vocal input level is looking great. The optimize button did not light up at all. And if you notice, there was a light purple ring here around the input knob. That was actually the level adjustments happening in real time. You could kind of look at this section like the Waves vocal router. It listens to your audio throughout time and it makes adjustments to basically balance it out, okay? It's like a automated automation. So that's how I describe it. Now, we are good to go here. So let's move on to the next section, which is the compression. So the compression section gives us two different parameters to adjust. It has stabilize and it has squish. So stabilize is basically how much compression you are adding to the vocal track, and then squish determines how aggressive that compression is. So my guess is behind the scenes, squish is some combination of an attack and release time. And depending where you move it, you can get a more, aggressive or more smooth sound. So all we have to do now is simply play the vocal track and let's dial this in.
And tonight, I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove that I'm still around. Town, I feel so empty. Patience is wasted and I wanna flee down where you are and I feel safe. Down where you embrace me with your face.
Alright, so I'm really digging that. So what I was looking for from this compression was to smooth out the vocal just a little bit, and then also make sure that it wasn't adding attack to the syllables in the beginning of words, which if you notice when we cranked up stabilize, it definitely did do that. So right here, that's where I'm digging it at. Let's move on to the next section, which is saturation. For the saturation section, we have two different parameters to adjust. So there's one called saturate, which of course allows us to add saturation to the vocal. And then there's one called focus. So focus, as you boost it, is going to increase the upper mids and highs in the vocal. And then as you decrease it, it's going to make the vocal more warm, increasing the lower mids. All right? So let's listen to the vocal and dial this in.
And tonight I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove that I'm still around. Town, I feel so empty. Patience is wasted and I wanna flee down where you are and I feel safe. Down where you embrace me with your face.
All right, so I'm really digging that. So for saturation, I just added a little bit. The vocal's already on the brighter side and it already has a good amount of character, so I felt like we didn't need too much saturation. I did, however, pull the focus down to add some more warmth to it to help combat some of that brightness, and I really like how this sounds now. So let's look at the last section over here, which is called soften. So the soften section is pretty straightforward. It reduces harshness in the vocal, and it also acts as a de-esser. And all you have to do is simply dial in this knob to your liking, and you're good to go. And with that being said, let's dial it in for our vocal.
And tonight I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove that I'm still around. Town, I feel so empty. Patience is wasted and I wanna flee down where you are and I feel safe. Down where you embrace me with your face. And tonight I will pick a fight. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right. Maybe I'll get my ass kicked to the ground just to prove that I'm still around. Town, I feel so empty. Patience is wasted and I wanna flee down where you are and I feel safe. Down where you embrace me with your face.
All right, so that was the Sonnox Voca plugin in action. So as you can hear, it definitely smoothed out the vocal track a little bit. And I definitely went overboard to saturation. I really like the saturation in this plugin. I think that compared to some other plugins, it sounds fantastic. So I definitely would dial that back a little bit in a final mix. Now, the vocal track we were using was already pretty well recorded. It was pretty smooth. So, you know, it didn't need a whole lot of work. Now, I did test this plugin on a couple other vocal tracks that were harder to work with, like my own. And, you know, this plugin is not going to get you to the finish line when you have, you know, tracks that need a lot of sculpting. So, for example, for my voice here, what I would do if I wanted to use this plugin is I would actually take a parametric EQ first, and I would carve out all those lows and low mids, because that's what's really bad on my voice, and then put it into this plugin. And then I think you'd be good. But, you know, it just doesn't have the EQing capabilities to really fix a vocal that just isn't there, okay? But honestly, the compression is very good, the saturation is very good, and the input, you know, leveling, that's actually pretty good too. I was pretty impressed. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And if you guys did end up liking this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe so I'm making this content for you and hit that notification bell so you'll never miss a new video when it comes out. And if you did like this plugin, don't forget there is a link in the description below where you can go purchase it. And if you did like this content, make sure to check out my review/tutorial on Sonnox's Oxford Inflator, which is my favorite Sonnox plugin. So with that being said, until the next video, I will see you guys later and peace out.